three-time Super Bowl champion, 14 seasons in the NFL, undrafted in 83. And my breakfast friend, who we eat breakfast almost every day in the country together. And he's going to be my neighbor. So I'm going to go jog by his house because he's not going to jog. And I'm going to pick him up, and we're going to walk and have breakfast. That's our life. We're going to get old together and just sit up there, face each other over a cup of coffee, and just talk about each other like a dog. That's our plan. Nate, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. If you pick me up, man, that sure would be nice, man, to physically pick me up, Brian.
Well, I can't pick you up. Like the picture they have in our studio, I could pick you up because that's the little Nate Newton. But
right.
You've grown a little bit, you know.
Okay.
Nate, can I tell them about the time when after you lost all the weight and you came to my door and I didn't recognize you?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's okay.
I didn't recognize Nate. Nate came to rung my doorbell and I recognized the voice, but I didn't recognize the person. He had lost that much weight.
So you thought some random dude just showed up to
took his voice, took his head. I mean, he still had the same head. But this is my guy, Nate.
Well over 200 pounds I had lost.
Yeah, you're well over 200,
well over
Nate.
200 pounds.
Yeah. And I asked him, what did he do with all the underwear? That's the first thing I asked. Like, what do you do with all the size 54s?
Hey, man.
Hey,
I
Nate.
kept them because I knew one day I may need them again.
What happened, speaking of needing them again, what happened to your Cowboys yesterday? Because you worked with the Cowboys and for the Cowboys.
Man.
What happened to your Cowboys?
That was a total physical whooping they took.
Were you there?
Handed them they had.
Were you there?
I went back and looked at that film of their offensive line with Quentin Nelson and the center Kelly and the other guys, man. And they were running a couple of power plays, short traps, long traps. They kept cutting the defense. You know, the Cowboys' defense is a speed to get out and run, and they are able to do that when their interior line, defensive line plays well. But Human Log, which I call Antoine Woods, Malik Collins, Ross, and all those guys, they didn't play very well. So that didn't allow Jalen Smith and the young Van Der Esch to be able to run. I mean, they gobbled them up. And it was a physical game for both our offensive and defensive line, in which both cases they didn't fare too well.
Nate, explain to the country, how in the world could your quarterback throw for over 400, Zeke go for over 100, and Cooper go for over 200, and we get no productivity either of them yesterday? How does that happen?
Oh man, you know that is not being mature enough in understanding the situation and where you sit, and as far as what you have to do to accomplish your goals. And their goal is to win the NFC East.
Who is that on? Nate, who is that on?
As a team.
Who is that on? Like, who is that on the players, the coach? Who is that on? Because it seemed like they were ill prepared.
That's on the coaches and the leaders of the team, Deion. You know that. When we play, you guys, Mike Irvin, you, Troy, Emmett, the way y'all prepared, the way y'all kept everybody ready to go, not tight, but loose and ready to go. And we were big game hunters. Through you guys, we were allowed to be big game hunters. They have no big game hunters. They have nobody that they can look at and say, hey, fellas, this is where it gets tough at. This is where the rubber meets the road. Let me take you there.
So Zeke is not that guy, Nate? Zeke is not that guy?
Mm-hmm. Who is that?
Is Zeke?
No, Zeke is a running back that relies on others. See, the others didn't play well, so Zeke could not dominate. And as much as we like to think that he can do all, he cannot do all. The quarterback didn't make enough plays with his primary receiver in Cooper. They didn't have not one chunk play of 20 yards or more. Their longest completion was 18 yards, and that was to a tight end. And me and you both know you can't win a game with a tight end unless you're Gronkowski. That's the only guy I think in this league, and maybe Kelsey has a tight end that can change the game around and maybe win it. But our wide receivers didn't make enough big plays.
But the public is saying, how can you show us so much good over the last several weeks, and then you look like garbage on this week? That's what the public wants to know. How can that happen?
And I will repeat to your public, which Mr. Eisen himself does a great job on his show of reaching the nation, is they're not mature. They don't understand the enormity of it. And like I say, they don't have a big game hunter, somebody that you can just turn loose. And I keep beating around the bush, but their quarterback is not there.
So, okay, I'm glad you said that. So if your quarterback is not there, he has a payday coming up, and it's something we've just focused on. Should some of these quarterbacks make this type of money? Because he's going to make $100 million, but yet and still.
No, he won't.
Why won't he?
He won't. You cannot give him $100 million because
if they won't, somebody else will.
Okay, all right. If you believe that, that's fine. But if you want to be successful, you have to understand who your quarterback is and what he can and cannot do. And at this point in time in his career, what are you going to pay for what you think is going to happen or what you see is happening?
Nate, so you don't think the guy's going to make at least 20 to 30? So he's not going to make from 20 to $30 million a year next year. This is the going rate for an average quarterback right now. It's $20 to $30 million a year.
Let me say this, Prime, and I'm saying this as a friend. Kirk Cousins is a $20 or less million player. The kid in Denver is the same. Yes, everybody got a little carried away with trying to give away their money so their teams can suffer. But I pray and hope that Jerry Jones, and I call him Mr. Jones, does not go out and give his kid this type of money. Pay him for what you see. He is a quarterback that deserves $13 to $15 million. It's a lot of quarterbacks are overpaid in this league. Don't wreck your team to say that you got a $20 million quarterback and you barely can make the playoffs. I'm looking at the Vikings right now.
So, Nate, tell me this.
God has paid $84 million. That's not right. He's supposed to be able to uncover. He's supposed to be able to cover up all wounds and badness. He's not been able to do that. When this team has been down, he's been down with the team. He's not put. It's only 4 or 5 quarterbacks in this league that can put a team on his back and take them where they need to go.
So is this team a playoff team?
Don't have them.
How would this team fare in the playoffs? Will they still win the division?
Now?
Yes.
Prime, they're a good home team, and that's it. If they have to go anywhere outside of the confines of Frisco, Texas, or Arlington, Texas, they may not fare well at all. I mean, this is a home team. They're young. They're not mature yet and understanding that you have to be an alpha dog, not only in your backyard, but when you walk outside the gates. And they're not doing a very good job of that.
So this team, you feel like if they have to go on the road, pretty much what you're saying is they're going to get beat. As long as they have a home game, they may win.
Yeah. That could happen. Now, Prime, it's hard for me to say that my Cowboys are going to get beat, but that could happen if they don't pull up their bootstraps and understand that this league is a bunch of grown men. This is a bunch of grown men playing. Alpha males all over the place. Somebody mentioned to me earlier that they play with a JV offensive line. I don't care what you play with. I've seen quarterbacks play with worse and come out and fare better than that. It's not that they lost the game, Prime. It's the way they lost the game. Our offensive line got dominated. Our defensive line got dominated. And our defensive line, that's the first time all year I can honestly say they had it took to them. They had it took to them in the worst way.
Who do you like in the NFC?
They lost yesterday, and that was Seattle. I like Seattle, and I've always been rolling with the Saints since day one of training camp. I like the Saints. They are a top 10 team. And what I mean by that is their defense can easily be a top 10. Their offense is a top 10, top 3 offense. They got the right coach in Sean Payton. They got the right group of guys rallying. I like the Saints, man. They are nice.
In the AFC, who do you like, Nate?
Oh, man. I hate to say this, but I like the San Diego Chargers, man, because they have a top 10 offense and defense. Their special teams ain't bad. If they can get the running back, they make him do some things. Now, a lot of people question Phillip Rivers and his big game abilities, but this may be his year because Bosa and Ingram coming off the ends, boy, they dangerous, man. They are dangerous.
We just spoke to Coach Lynn, and he said they're peaking right now at the right time.
Oh, they are. He's done a masterful job, man, and of coaching these guys. Was he a running back coach or Coach Lynn? What's his background, Prime? Is he a linebacker, defensive coach, or a running back coach? I think he is, but he's doing a masterful job of holding that team together, man, and doing it the right way, man. So I'm happy for.
Yeah, he was a running back coach for quite some time.
Huh?
He was a running back coach for quite some time.
Yes, he was. Yeah, and he's doing a masterful job, man. I mean, he's demanded that these guys play the right way. They're playing the smart way, and they're doing what they have to do now. The wide receiver, he hurt his hip the past game, the primary guy, but they had a young guy, Mike Williams, come to life.
Yeah, he came and went to work.
He went to work, man. Wow.
Nate, this is Nate Newton, my former teammate, one of my best friends who we're going to be neighbors real soon, and we're going to get old together and joke together and just destroy each other emotionally together. Nate, I'm gonna do what I'm allow you to do what you always do to me, like on a daily basis. You get your last shot and you hang up in my face. You get your last joke off.
No, I'm not gonna crack any jokes today, Deion Sanders. I'm glad that Rich Eisen allowed you to come on to his show so you can expand your knowledge and horizon with all the people in the world, man. And I wish y'all the much success. And tell that dude the next time whoever called me to set this up, man, to speak clearly in the phone. That would help me, a lot, because I didn't know what I was listening to there, okay?
Okay, well, you're not going to take a shot at the staff here. They were very good staff, okay? And they told me if you get your ear, they told me you get all the meat out of your ear out of the phone, it'll be better. Okay, that's what they told me. The guy that you were talking about, he said if you get your ear out of the phone, that you would be able to hear much more clear. Nate, I thank you, man. I appreciate you. Can you guys hang up on him like you do me?
You be good. God bless you.
Nate Newton, ladies and gentlemen.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.